So now what you would want to do is take a nice long wrench and get inside here and grab onto this bolt. After that, you can release tension and then remove your belt. We're going to be disconnecting a power steering hose here to get this reservoir out of the way, so make sure you have some Honda power steering fluid at the ready. Let's get started. With the clamp loose, I'm going to move over to the mounting bolt, remove that. Now at this point I obviously want to be careful because there's a possibility fluid's going to come out of here, any fluid that's in the reservoir. So I'm just going to go ahead and twist the hose off and then I'll lay it up to this angle so there's no way for fluid to come out. There we are. Now let's follow that dipstick tube down to its mounting bolt. Remove that bolt. Go ahead and remove that bolt. Set that aside. Now we need to start removing the dipstick tube. So go ahead and grab onto it. We're going to give it a little wiggle, start drawing it up towards us. Once it's up, spin it, and then remove it from the car. With the dipstick tube out of there, we have a nice clear view of our upper bolt for our tensioner. But before we go ahead and remove that one, let's go ahead and get inside the passenger side wheel well so we can remove the lower bolt. Now the area we're going to have to access is going to be located behind the passenger side wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this wheel. To do that, you want to make sure you safely raise and support the front of your car so the wheel's off the ground. Remove all 5 lug nuts and get the wheel off. With the wheel off of there, the next thing we want to do is get this right out of the way. That way there we have a nice clear view. You're going to find 3 push clips. One up in the corner over here, one right there, and then one right down there. After that, we'll pull this out of the way. We'll get this out of the way. With the shield out of the way, we have a nice clear view of our lower mounting bolt. Go ahead and remove that. Now back up in the engine compartment, we're going to remove our upper bolt. Now with that lower bolt removed, the next thing I want to do is move up to the center bolt on the tensioner, right here in the center. Go ahead and remove that as well. Now back up under the hood, we need to remove our upper bolt. I'm just going to hold on to that tensioner with my magnet. Okay. Okay. Now let's get ready to put our tensioner back in here. I'm going to start with my center bolt. That's the longest of the 3 bolts. Go ahead and push it right through. We'll bring it in and we'll start it into its corresponding hole on the engine. Okay, I got the center bolt started. Now let's start in the lower bolt. Now that we have that lower bolt started, let's go ahead and do the upper bolt as well. Now that we have all 3 bolts started, let's continue on by torquing them. We're going to torque them to 8.7 foot-pounds. If you don't have something that goes like that, you can just torque it to 9 foot-pounds. Back in the wheel well, I'll start with the center bolt. Let's do the lower bolt. Now let's do the lower bolt. Let's make sure it's torqued. Now it's going to be time to install our dipstick tube. Something you want to pay attention to is the gasket along the end of your dipstick tube. Make sure it's clean, doesn't have any debris, and of course it's in good condition. To install it, what you're going to want to do is follow your power steering belt straight down, and in between the tensioner and the belt itself, you'll be able to find where this dipstick tube needs to rest. We'll go ahead and slide it in there and then put in our mounting bolt. Carefully line it up, okay. Slides right in. I'm going to give it a nice twist and we can start in the bolt. To put in this bolt, I'm just going to start it on the socket with a short extension and then start it in. All right, we've got it started. Let's go ahead and bottom it out and snug it up. Okay, so we've got that bottomed out. Let's just give it a little extra, make sure it's nice and tight. Clean off your dipstick and reinstall it. Now it's going to be time to get our belt back on here. Just take a quick peek, make sure it's sitting on all the lower pulleys the best it can. And then of course we'll come up here. We're going to bring it underneath the tensioner pulley and then get ready to go up and over this alternator pulley. Let's relieve tension on this. Slide it over. Let it off. Now double check your belt routing and make sure it's going over the pulleys it needs to and under the pulleys that it needs to. After that, let's put our power steering reservoir back in. Let's grab that reservoir with our finger over this output hose here. Slide it down into where its position is, and then we'll grab our hose and start it on there as well. Install your clamp. Let's get our splash shield back into position. Grab our push clip, slide it through the hole, and then push in the centerpiece. Do the same to the rest. Now let's go ahead and get the wheel on here. We'll put all the lug nuts on, snug them up, get the wheel on the ground, and torque the lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds. Let's torque them to 80. Torqued. Okay, so now that we have this back in, the next thing that I want to do is hop inside the car and I'm going to start it up and run it for a couple seconds, maybe 5 to 10 seconds. Go ahead and turn it off and we'll come back out here and inspect our belt. Make sure it's sitting on all the pulleys the way that it needs to. If it seems like it's falling off, you need to make sure that you fix that. After you've gone ahead and done that, go ahead and check your power steering fluid right here. You want to make sure that it's up near the maximum line. If it looks like it's low, like this one right here, you're going to want to make sure you add some Honda power steering fluid.